ever since Weekend League or Mutt Champions, whatever you want to call it, started, I'd never gone undefeated. 25-0. I've gone and I haven't lost, if that makes sense, because in the past I used to freeze and there was ways to do stuff. So I would play a weekend and hadn't lost, but my record didn't show 25-0. But this week was our first time ever. I've played all these weekend leagues and there's no rewards. Oh my God. But let's talk about it. Let's break stuff down for you today. First thing here, I'm going to break down. We're going to watch the game 25 and I'm going to talk through some stuff with you guys. This was actually game 24. This was a tight game. Obviously, we're in overtime. He had won the coin toss and got the ball first here. So this is where we're going to start. Whoever this was, you were a tough matchup, man. Super tough matchup. He was running this fork play over and over and over and over and over. So right here, one thing that he'd been hitting me with consistently is Donald Parham 89 there on the left crossing over, and he was always hitting him in the spot before where the flats were. And I'd kind of been like giving it to him all game because I wasn't like overly worried. We were trying to get some pressure and all that. So see, this time here I took my slot defender, and normally who's in a flat, I'd put him in a vert hook. Okay, very different than what we'd been doing all game long. So again, I'm trying to cover here, and this is where he throws. We finally made that adjustment, okay? And we take this back 4-6 to win the game in overtime. Get it? Got it? Good, cool. So one of the main reasons I'm saying that to you guys is a lot of times you can adjust within a game, and sometimes it's better to save that adjustment. Save it. I don't even know what this is. It's a game day pack. We'll just open this, whatever. I want to show you guys basically all we can. We probably get nothing into here. Yeah, standard. But so yes, we did end up going 25-0, and we had some pretty tough matchups here. Again, when you're playing weekend long, weekend league, you'll get some easier ones here. So again, 25-0 right there, and then the leaderboard, as we see, not current week, previous week, number one. So I didn't play any like these really top guys, but there were a few in the top 100 we ended up playing. So shout out to them, shout out to anyone who ever still plays, does well, and all that. We played our guy Ultimate Fire, took him down. It was a good win. And then there was like two more maybe in here. We ended up playing Pick Artist, which was game 25. So not like we had a gimme there at the end at all. And I think that is actually no, we played Paneer really early on. So we had three that we played. Now you guys are probably saying, oh my God, but what did you run and do? Again, I'm going to cover that in a really depth over on maddenturf.com as a guide. So you guys are premium members over there. You'll get everything. And then if you're not a premium member, you can just go snag stuff there. But I didn't use Jerry Rice. I didn't even pick him up. You see here, this is the exact team. I made no changes to it. Defense and offense right here. Now I think what makes this even more special to me is the way that people play this game is a lot of man coverage. I hate man coverage. Not that I don't think it's good. I just hate using it because I don't feel like it's me doing a lot of adjusting and like throwing a zone out there. I just don't like it. I don't feel like it's me playing the game as much. So we didn't run any man coverage. Playbook was pass balance on offense, mostly gun a slot offset, multiple defensive playbook. Could have run a lot of different playbooks, but I run dime normal basically the entire time. Here. And a lot of it is quarters. I know someone said, oh, match coverage. Definitely not match coverage. Don't really understand all the match principles and concepts. So I think if I try something like that, again, it might not work out very well for me. But those are the two playbooks because you guys are undoubtedly going to question that. But let's hop into this game, break it down. It's not the longest game, but we're still going to break it down. If you're looking to build the best team in Madden or any other game, make sure you head over to MMOEXP.com. Avoid the packs, save some racks, pick up your MUT, MT, and many other games. Use code CC 5% off. Let's be great. All right, here we go. Here we go. Again, I didn't know who this was, but based on his name, I figured like he was a decent player. Normally, when you get the guys who name their gamer tag after plays and all this sort of stuff, like maybe not the best players in the world, but they're decent. Okay, so we have this game and we are kicking off. He's got the Black Knights jerseys and we're the Falcons, just so you guys know and understand that we're in black, he's in white. Get it? Got it? Good, cool. So I was nervous. I'll admit it. I can admit when I was nervous and all that, because like I really wanted this to happen. Like I really did, since I've never done it. So what I do kind of going in here, again, I set my audible to cover 4 quarters. And then with the way that people like to play, I actually audible into a play. I come out in double safety blitz and I audible down. What all that really helps me do is get my safeties really low in the box, sort of off the rip, as you'll see here. So again, that's sort of what I'm doing. And again, when I'm playing someone in this trips coverage, you know, people like to run a lot of verticals and all that, which he sort of does there. So I man up the slot there, kind of instinctually. Okay, again, what's your weakness here? Well, against the trip set, it's someone going to be doing that. So again, that's where my user's coming over there, and I'm actually playing the flat, and I'm dropping Fridge, who's not a coverage player by any means, into coverage here. Right, that is my plan. So he's kind of throws this up, and very importantly here, we swat the ball. Okay, now when we want to talk abilities, I personally use tip drill on my safeties and stuff like that, because a lot of times these balls that get sort of tossed up there, I don't want to be batting it around. So I don't even try to catch this. I see other defenders in the area, so I know just put the ball back up in the air for them, and that's what we do. Right, maybe we could pick it, I don't know, but if we tip it up, bam, we're going to be able to get the tip drill to work for us. And I was kind of hoping we were going to pick 6 that, but we obviously do not. So again, knowing what to do situationally. Do you try to catch the pass? Do you try to swat at the pass? Maybe if we try to catch it, maybe he eggs us. If we try to swat it, maybe he eggs us too. But I feel better that if it's tipped, Hooker or Charles Woodson there is going to be there. So again, we're going to be Nace Twins. And again, I always just kind of really determine what I'm going to do based off of their defense here. Really basic. So many people like to run man. The most common things that you see, nickel over, Overstorm Brave, or dollar for the most part. Like those are the 2 things you see the most. And since I see this quite often, and people don't play against my scheme or me quite often, I feel like I have the advantage going into this this section here. And again, me knowing how this defense is generally aligned and set up, we see him on Night Train Lane, which is the outside corner on the right screen, bringing him over there to help, because it appears in this case he's trying to get pressure with sending 6. And I know that his man would then be the running back. The safety is always going to be manned up there on the tight end, which in this case would be Kyle Pitts. But that's never really my first look. My first look is always going to be at the linebackers here to see what they are doing. Are they blitzing? Is he dropping in coverage? Does he confuse me? Again, when you're doing something so obvious as this, I will 100% assume you're in man. I don't assume he's in cover 2, cover 3, or cover 4 or anything like that. If he was just on a linebacker potentially, maybe. And again, this is a really important reason why I use identifier in my offense, because where you are located on the field and who you're using helps me get a much better understanding of the defense that you are trying to run. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's keep going. So right here, again, this is such a quick decision on my part. As soon as I see the linebacker there, Ted Hendricks, come down, I know what I can do. I know what's going to be open. I 100% know where I'm going with this ball instantly. And we throw it basically before any reaction happens, and Metzelaars is going to house this because the corner can't press up on the tight end. So I know that I have a free release, and for the most part, he is going to stand still until I get to him. Okay. So again, we see the corner is feet planted in the ground because he's waiting for me to come to him. Again, playing this enough, we know that. Bam, that's what happens. So we go up 7. We didn't even get ball first, right? Again, take advantage of the way that the meta of the game is and the way people like to play this game. And for the most part, people like to play the same way. I'd made a comment on a video before that everyone just copies each other, and then someone came down and they were like, well, you only run 3 plays. I think you just missed the entire point of what I was saying. I like to do things a little bit differently than everyone else, which is fine. It's not always the best thing or the smartest thing, but it is indeed what I like to do because it's me and I like to try out different things. What I mean when people do the same thing is that it gives players like me an advantage because I see it so much and they see me so little, something we mentioned earlier on. And it is really, really an important piece of playing Madden at a higher level. It is how I'm allowed to win more games while there are no money spent teams and all this sort of stuff. So again, he's coming out in trips tight end, and trips tight end, let's be honest, is not the most common formation this year. So I don't really know exactly what he's trying to do. I know that the best thing is probably like a corner route from the tight end. But I feel like for the most part, his best option is going to be to kind of like ag us basically, or throw streaks and hopefully get behind the zones, because sometimes zones, they don't really react great to streaks and all that. So just the truth. So he's sticking with this, so I'm going to stick with what I'm doing, right? We also notice his left tackle doesn't have any sort of edge protector or anything, so we're hoping that that's where things are going to go. And again, as I'm getting in position here, like I said, we'll break this down in the guide a lot more. When I'm going and using my user here, yes, I'm covering the flat, but I'm also watching that receiver right in front of me. In this case, I think it was Roddy White, to see maybe he like breaks really sharply. He's on a drag or a slant, and I can sort of run over there because he's the threat I'm worried about going to the flat on the left at this point. But it also puts me in a position to blow up the run, because strip side end is a decent little running formation. So again, it allows me to be in there. Not that I hit him in the exact backfield on this play. Maybe my reaction's a little slow, but to stop that. So again, we'll just keep doing the same thing, right? Like, why stop? And again, who are we worried about with the corner route? Right there. And that's exactly where we run. And because it's play action, sometimes you kind of get these weird little sheds that happen. And it's like he doesn't even come blocked. We can see the right of screen end. He just doesn't even get touched. Again, why? I don't really know. Not like it's an ability or anything. It just sort of happens. But right here, he has one route I feel comfortable throwing, and that would be the deep or the short cross, the short dig right at the 30 there. And maybe that's where he's going. I don't know. But again, I'm covering my guy, knowing exactly what's going on. And yeah, that would feel like that was probably the only place he could have really gone with the ball. And he rage quit out. Again, I don't mind getting the easy, quick, fast wins when I play these games. Yeah, sometimes you want to rack up points because you're trying to get stats for XP and stuff. But here, again, by using our abilities correctly, we were able to make sure that we got that pick early on, and all of that. And we see that the 25-0 sort of happens here. And I'm checking to make sure that nobody randomly passed me, and they didn't. So everything worked out really well. I kind of wish that I had some of these other games recorded, which I do not, unfortunately, because I wasn't expecting this. I think I logged on Sunday, and maybe I was like a 13-14-0, something like that. And I was like, well, I'll just play until we lose, basically. I'm not worried about it. We're just trying to get competitive pass points and all that. Just as many as we can get. So between 25-0 and the stats, we got 198 competitive points. I played no solo battles. My champs is just 25. No seasons games, sets, and all that. So it's 198 for 25-0 basically. So I'll just play one solo battle, and it just makes my week even that much easier, right? That's the key right now to winning in this game for me, is a time saver. The more I win, the more time I save, and that's all I really care about. So if we look at some of these scores here, Again, most of them not really that close. I was struggling for a while there. One of the stats that you had to get for the week was score 31 plus points, so I was trying to force it here. And that happened in that Pharaoh X43 game where I was kind of like, I don't know, kind of intentionally letting the game kind of go a bit. And then of course the next game we just put up a big spot there anyway. The Kale Diff game was probably the hardest game I had all week. I know I've played them before. And then again, we just see a lot of, quick, easy games. I don't know why Ultimate Fire, he kind of quickly-ish. No, I think it was like the third or fourth quarter actually. But again, like we just sort of ran through a lot of this stuff and finished the night off really not in that much of a problem with how everything went. So I don't have to play this week. It's great. It is great. Great. So again, I will break down all my plays and all that sort of stuff on Madden Turf. It is not up yet, so don't try to go find it. But when it is up, I will obviously let you know and all that, because I've kind of been waiting for this point to where I feel like, man, like this is really good for other people to use and not just me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. If you guys want more breakdown games, let me know, and I am happy to do them. I will try to record some games and then always just break them down, as opposed to the live com games where we're, in YouTube mode. This is kind of where my original passion for Madden kind of lies, is gameplay, playing well, learning how the game works and do all that. And sometimes I get away from that on here, but I love you guys. Be great. I'm out.